The galaxy had watched humanity for centuries. To the ancient species of the cosmos, Earthlings were a curious anomaly, short-lived fragile creatures who stumbled into space travel more by luck than brilliance. The advanced civilizations of the Galactic Federation dismissed them as irrelevant, a fleeting blip in the grand tapestry of interstellar history. That was until the day the cadets landed on Oryxis Prime. Oryxis Prime was not just a planet. It was a fortress, the gleaming jewel of the Trakthar Dominion. The Trakthar were warriors bred for conquest, towering giants with armor-like scales and intellects sharp enough to rival their claws. They had crushed dozens of other species in their relentless march across the stars. When humanity refused their demand for surrender, the Trakthar did not send diplomats. They sent warships. Earth responded in kind. The United Terran Fleet deployed its newest recruits, the Vanguard Cadets. Fresh from training, barely adults by human standards, they were armed with prototype exosuits and weapons humanity itself was still learning to master. When the Trakthar saw the small ragtag group disembark on their most fortified planet, their amusement echoed across their communication channels. "They are children," one commander sneered. "Soft, fleshy creatures who rely on mechanical shells to stand tall. Their courage is admirable, if misplaced." The cadets heard the transmissions through their shared neural links. The laughter burned hotter than the desert sun that scorched Oryxis Prime. But their leader, Cadet Commander Elena Vos, stood unwavering. Her voice cut through the chatter on their comms. "Eyes forward, heart steady, every step we take will be a step they remember. We are not here for ourselves. We are here for Earth." The squad fell into formation. Their exosuits gleamed under the twin suns, powered by a fusion of nanotech and biomechanical engineering. Each suit was a symbiosis of pilot and machine, amplifying human strength and speed to superhuman levels. It was humanity's answer to the galaxy's disdain, a testament that humans were more than the sum of their weaknesses. The first clash came quickly. Trakthar infantry swarmed the human landing zone with precision honed by centuries of war. Plasma rounds hissed through the air, and the ground trembled beneath the weight of their charge. The cadets met them head-on. Elena led the charge, her blade slicing through the first wave like a comet tearing through the night sky. Around her, the others moved with similar grace, each strike calculated, each maneuver flawless. The Trakthar underestimated the humans' adaptability. Their soldiers were disciplined, but predictable, their tactics rooted in traditions that had not evolved in millennia. The cadets, on the other hand, fought like no alien species had ever seen. They improvised, they adapted, they turned every mistake into an opportunity. As the battle raged on, the laughter on the Trakthar channels began to wane. The humans were relentless. When one fell, another took their place with ferocity that bordered on madness. Their weapons, while primitive compared to Trakthar standards, were wielded with such precision and creativity that even the most hardened alien warriors hesitated. Hours turned to days. The desert sands of Oryxis Prime were stained red and black with the blood of both sides. The cadets pushed forward with a singular purpose, dismantling fortifications that had stood for centuries. They moved like phantoms through enemy lines, striking hard and vanishing before the Trakthar could regroup. Their exosuits became symbols of terror, their glowing visors the last thing many Trakthar soldiers saw before the end. By the seventh day, the laughter had died entirely. In its place, there was silence, an eerie, suffocating silence that echoed across the battlefield. The Trakthar commanders, once so certain of their superiority, found themselves retreating into bunkers designed to withstand planetary sieges. The humans had become the hunters, and the Trakthar galaxy's most feared predators were their prey. In the final hours of the campaign, Cadet Elena Vos stood atop the ruins of the Trakthar Central Command. Around her, the surviving cadets raised the Terran Flogger stark black banner emblazoned with a single silver star. The image was broadcast across the galaxy, a silent declaration that humanity was not to be underestimated. When the Galactic Federation reviewed the footage, they saw more than just a victory. They saw the unyielding spirit of a species that refused to be defined by its limitations. The cadets had not just won a battle, they had rewritten the rules of war. And as the universe watched in stunned silence, humanity's name began to spread not as a curiosity, but as a force to be reckoned with. For on the sands of Oryxis Prime, the laughter of the galaxy's greatest warriors had died, and in its place, a new legend was born. The cadets stood amidst the ruins of what was once thought to be an impregnable stronghold. Their exosuits, battered and scorched, bore the scars of countless battles. Yet they stood tall, their spirits unbroken. Elena Voss scanned the horizon, her visor's HUD still tracking heat signatures of retreating Trakthar forces. The battle was over. The war, however, was far from it. Oryxis Prime's fall sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. For centuries, the Trakthar had been synonymous with victory. To lose to a group of human cadets was unthinkable. Within hours, news of their defeat spread across star systems. The Galactic Federation held emergency councils. Species who had once dismissed humanity as an insignificant upstart began re-evaluating their assessments. The cadets, however, had little time to bask in their victory. As Elena rallied her team for extraction, her neural link buzzed with an incoming transmission. It was Admiral Rehan, the stoic commander of the United Terran Fleet. His face appeared as a hologram, his expression one of grim resolve. "The Federation is divided, Elena," he said. "Some see this as proof of humanity's worth. Others see it as a threat. Trakthar reinforcements are on the way. You need to hold the line until we can extract you." Elena nodded without hesitation. She turned to her squad, her voice steady despite the enormity of the task ahead. "We've come this far. We hold, together." The cadets fortified their position, using the remains of Trakthar defenses against their creators. They set traps, reinforced choke points, and prepared for the inevitable onslaught. They knew reinforcements would not arrive in time. They also knew that retreat was not an option. The first wave came at dawn, the horizon darkening with the silhouettes of Trakthar war machines. Tanks rolled forward, supported by aerial squadrons that blotted out the twin suns. The cadets braced themselves, their neural links synchronizing their movements into a seamless symphony of destruction. Plasma cannons roared, cutting through the Trakthar armor like molten blades. Drones piloted by cadet technologists weaved through the enemy ranks, detonating with precision strikes. Snipers perched on the highest ruins picked off commanders, sowing chaos in the advancing lines. Elena herself led the charge, her blade glowing with the heat of 100 battles as she carved a path through the enemy. For every Trakthar soldier that fell, another seemed to take their place. The cadets' exosuits began to fail under the relentless assault. Energy reserves drained, armor plating cracked. Yet they fought on, driven not by hope but by sheer defiance. Hours turned into an eternity. The battlefield was a cacophony of destruction, a symphony of fire and steel. But the cadets never faltered. For every step the Trakthar advanced, the cadets pushed them back too. They became legends in the making, each act of bravery another chapter in humanity's burgeoning mythos. By nightfall, the battlefield fell silent once more. The Trakthar forces, once so sure of their dominance, had been shattered. The few survivors retreated into the void, their war machines left smouldering on the sands of Oryxis Prime. The cadets, bloodied but unbroken, stood victorious. As the extraction ships descended from the heavens, the cadets gathered under the fluttering Terran flag. Elena looked at her squad, her voice trembling with exhaustion, but filled with pride. "We did not fight for glory. We fought for Earth, for every voice that was silenced, for every life taken by their hands. Today we showed the galaxy who we are." The cadets boarded the ships, leaving behind a battlefield that would become a monument to human resilience. As they ascended into the stars, The ruins of Oryxis Prime glowed faintly, a testament to their struggle. The Trakthar would never recover from the humiliation. Their empire fractured, their once feared name reduced to a cautionary tale. The Galactic Federation, watching from the shadows, began extending hesitant alliances to humanity, not out of kindness, but out of fear. For they knew that, if a group of cadets could bring the galaxy's greatest warriors to their knees, humanity's full potential was something to be both respected and feared. And so, the story of the cadets of Oryxis Prime spread across the stars, a tale of defiance, of unity, and of a laughter that died on the battlefield, replaced by the unyielding silence of human determination.